I want to welcome you here this morning. I think I can go ahead and get started just because I'm going to need my full 90 minutes, what I planned for there. And so looking forward to presenting today. My name is Mike Gingrich, and I am the president of Digital Hill Multimedia. We're a Goshen-based firm that serves clients regionally and nationally with web development and social media marketing. Our topic this morning, of course, is social media marketing, and any one of these social media networks I could spend 90 minutes on in itself. So we're not going to drill down into any one in particular, but the goal here is to show you what's new, what matters, and how you can use it for business. So that's what we're going to drive into today. And just to let you know, I did confirm that as well, that we will have the slides and everything I present on screen you'll be able to download there. And I will share this URL at the end as well of the presentation, so you will have access to everything that I present along the way. And we'll be glad to. I'm going to take a break about halfway through, so we will have a question and answer time at the midpoint and at the end as well. So we'll kind of do a two-stop with a halftime and a finale there, where we'll be able to answer questions about what I'm talking about today. So. Just a little bit more background on Digital Hill then. So when I say websites, that is front-end websites, and today it's about updatable websites. People need to be able to update their content, on the go, add new pages, add content. So we build websites like that, and they have to be what's called mobile responsive, because you want them to be viewable on mobile devices, largely because the internet has taken over, so that there's so many more on the smartphones. Morning, Bob. Grab a seat there. More people are using the web on mobile devices now than on notebook computers and on desktop computers, and so that's an important factor. Social media has played a role into that, and so we want to dive into what that means for you. And my goal today is to kind of take you behind the curtain and to show you some of what's happening in the social media realm from a user perspective, what it means for you as a business because of those things, because of the time spent, where they're spending time, how they're interacting with it, and what that means for business, just some of the intricacies involved with that. As it applies to your business, your organization, and I know we have a wide range here. So we have education, we have business to consumer, we have business to business, we have nonprofit. So I'm going to give you things that apply to each of you but I won't be able to just drill down into one of those funnels itself. Got to keep it so we can apply to everybody here. But a couple key points as we get started, laying the foundation. And that is that it usually takes 7 points of contact before someone is ready to make a purchase from your business. So there's a point of awareness, there's a point of seeking information, there's a point of building enough trust. All those points generally take about 7 points of contact, and a lot of that now is being done on the web. So there's only a small portion that are ready to buy right away. They know specifically, and they want to make a purchase right then. Others are doing research, and some are just showing interest. Okay, so we have a wide variety of where they're at, but there's a smaller percentage that are ready to buy it right away. But on social media, we can get in front of them. If it's going to take 7 points of contact to have them know, like, and trust us, then social media can be a key place because of the significant amount of time that people are spending on social media. Now, one of the foundations, just to start from, as we look at that, is thinking social media is a direct sales channel. I don't really think it is a direct sales channel unless you are business to consumer and have a product that is a quick choice product. All right, so it's not necessarily and this is a fallacy. This is a problem that many businesses start with, because they want to say, I ran a Facebook ad and no one purchased that product. Okay, so there's a process that people have to go through, and that's what I want you to understand today, going back to those 7 points, that there is an opportunity, and if the general public need to have a number of touch points with you to know who you are, to understand what your company offers, to know what your product is, and to be able to feel comfortable with that, that can take a number of points of contact, and social can be these key points in there. It can be a discovery mechanism, so we can get in front of more of the right people, not just a scattershot approach like a billboard along the highway, but we can get in front of just the audiences that you want to in many cases. And it offers an opportunity for engagement, for a fraction of the cost, just some time to be able to interact with them, to answer a few questions. For those who have made a purchase, it does offer another support channel so that you can answer questions. You can give feedback right away on something, but it is also an opportunity for trust building and lead generation. So now when we take a look at social media, I know some of you were kind of doing some homework ahead of time trying to figure out what all my social media icons were that I had up on display there. It changes quickly. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that there's new social media networks that weren't there 2 years ago? There's things that are always happening. This is one of the fastest moving arenas in marketing today, and it just continues to evolve just because of the adoption rate. People are consuming and spending time in social media, and so those networks and others are trying to adapt, evolve, get a piece of that pie to have their platform be the one. And it can leave us feeling like this at times, like what am I going to do? Particularly from a business perspective, because there's lots of opportunities. Where do I go? Do I turn left? Do I turn right? Do I go down this road? What are these things that we see on the screens at times? These ghosts with what looks like braille dots around them. Those types of pieces that, and this is Snapchat, if you didn't know that. And these things are becoming common. You're seeing these on doors as you enter restaurants, buildings. You're seeing them on websites, these types of pieces. And so it's we can understand what they are, if it's useful for me. Do I need to go down that road? Do I need to do this road? Because I want to say that you don't have to be everywhere and you don't have to do everything, but you need to understand it from the perspective of what's working, what are people gravitating to, and where are your people, the ones that you want to connect with, where are they spending time. Now, laying that foundation a little bit further, there's also another issue to be aware of, and that is that the speed of change is continuing to increase. It's not slowing down. So, way back the printing press, and we jumped to the telescope, and finally to the telephone and the car. But now, suddenly, from 2000 on up, we are rolling quickly. The Google driverless cars, some of those leading edge things, the 3D movies, the virtual reality pieces, the speed of change today is amazing. And that causes us to need to stay up to date. That's why we do these types of things, just because it's amazing. I gave this presentation at the beginning of February, and I had to make changes for this one. Okay, and 4-5 weeks, there were some changes, some important things to note. Some things evolve, and this is significantly different than what I would have done 6 months ago. So there's a need to continue to stay up to date with these items. So the speed of change is something that your business needs to be aware of. You cannot just say, okay, we've learned that, now we're good. Okay, it's going to have to be a continual learning process. And the second thing is that there's a thing called content shock. There is an ever increasing amount of content online that you could consume, and it actually exceeds the capacity to consume. So, what is happening is the different things online. These are posts that people make. These are blog posts. These are news articles. This is, these are snaps. These are Instagram pictures. All this is content that is online that is possible for a person to see when they are online. And we only have a finite capacity to receive some of that. So this is kind of where your competition is. Your competition online today, you have to be aware of that, is with your friends' posts to some degree, okay? In getting in front of the people that you want to get in front of, because they have lots of things that they can see. Okay, that doesn't mean that we throw our hands up and say, we can't get in front of them. It just means that we need to be strategic about how we do it. And that is my goal today, is to give you kind of an overarching concept on what you can do. And we want to develop a plan, and a plan that actually does involve more than social media, okay? But central to it is the aspect and role of social media within it. So 5 things that are critical for you today. And number 1 is to be where your audience is. And this means that if your audience, if you are B2B and your audience is 35 to 55 males, okay, you can write off Snapchat for now, okay? You don't need to be there. You don't need to learn that one. Matter of fact, you can probably write off Pinterest at this point in time as well for now, okay? It's about knowing where your audience is and then using what works on that network. So these networks change, and we're going to go into that, particularly with some of the changes in Facebook today, that you can't just keep doing the same thing. That what types of posts, the things you do on those social media networks has changed, and that's some of the keys that you need to be aware of today that impact what's happening. And along with that, we want to talk about communication style and methods, because remember, we are on a social media network. We have to understand kind of the tone, purpose of that network, what works on that network, and that's kind of the, it's the culture of that network, what's happening within that, and you need to be able to flow within that. If you want to be formal, that's probably not going to work real well on Instagram, okay? Because it's more of a informal photo sharing, video sharing network. And so that's what I mean by that style, is how you post, the words you use, the tone you use, that type of thing. We want to talk about frequency, because it does matter. Gone are the days where you could think, hey, I've posted once today, that's good enough. Or, hey, we've posted 3 times this week, we're active on Facebook, okay? When you think about active users, they are posting multiple times a day. And if you want to compete in that second realm where there's lots of content consumption, you have to get on the highway and get up to speed, okay? You have to share more frequently, perhaps, than you thought. And finally, the last key foundation that we're going to talk about today is this piece of integrating. Okay, so just because social media is massively advancing doesn't mean that your website is now second rate or anything like that. Your website is actually critical to the process, because you want to move them from social media to your website. And I'm here to say that email marketing is still central to what you need to do today, because email gets used. Email gets looked at. How many of you already checked your email today? You have to raise your hand, but majority are going to have checked their email already today. We check their email. So we want to work at these pieces, how we can integrate these things together. So now back to the landscape, just to show you some of that speed of change. You guys were trying to study these ahead of time. And how many could name all of these? Anybody that grabbed all of those social media networks? Okay. And how many of you could get 5? 7? We got 7. Okay. All right. Let's just run through them quickly so we can get our bearings here. And your top left is, okay, and next to it, all right, and then followed by, and Instagram. Okay. Now let's go back down, bottom left. Periscope, which is a video platform owned by Twitter. Okay. Next to it, Meerkat. Meerkat. Okay. Next to it, this was supposed to be a Facebook beater. Hello. Hello without the H. Hello. Okay. It didn't win, did it? Didn't beat Facebook. All right. Next to it is Blab, YouTube, and LinkedIn, of course. All right. That was that was kind of midway through 2016, about through August, and here we are now with a little attrition rate, on some of these. Okay, so Meerkat did not make it. It was a direct competitor with Periscope. Periscope had more funds behind it, being owned by Twitter, and Periscope took it. Meerkat said we can't compete. They folded. Allo is still out there struggling a little bit, and Blab shut the door as well. They were a live stream network. It was kind of like Hollywood Squares with 4 people. You could have 4 people appear on a live video screen together, and so you would interact in a live format with those 4. You didn't have to. You could have up to 4. You could have 2, 3, that type of thing. But one of those things that they had in common, that Blab, that Meerkat, the Periscope had in common, was video and this whole concept of live streaming, which some of these others have gotten into. So we want to take a look at that today, because that's what is important and coming and active, and some things that you should be thinking about for your business. On Facebook and Instagram, both video and live video have really come of age in the past 5-6 months, and they are important for these platforms. When I talked about how you post, there are things at play there which mean that if you are using one of these, you get an advantage over someone that is just posting with a text post, and sometimes in terms of sharing a link, okay? But if you share a short video or a live video and then refer to that same blog post, but just talk about it instead of pasting it in, that gets more reach, it gets more eyeballs, it gets in front of the people better. All right, so those are some of the things. And then the concept of disappearing content, which for some of us over the age of 40 seems a little harder to understand. Why do we want content that just is there and gone, never seen again? How does that help us from a marketing perspective? But there is a generation rising up, and they are consuming that. They like that this short snippets of content that disappears after a certain period of time. And so it's something for us to be aware of. As we take a look at the bigger picture, though, just so you know, I mean, Facebook is still #1 in terms of social media use, and a couple keys with it are that it spans all age demographics. It's really the only one that has cracked well the 50+ age bracket. All right, there's a few others that are trying to move into that. We see Twitter has a little share of that, and Instagram is kind of moving in some of that direction. Pinterest does have some of that as well in the female demographic, but Facebook's really the only one that has conquered that. Now, they have lagged behind a little bit now in the teenage segment. The teenagers are on there, but they're not necessarily active. But they're on the sister site, Instagram, which is owned by Facebook. So Facebook is the biggest and the most daily active users, and it's amazing to see. I was at a Facebook event put on by Facebook recently, and they wanted to make sure we understood the point that the amount of time spent on Facebook by the average user per month exceeds all the other use of all of the other social media networks combined. So the amount of time that someone spends on YouTube, Twitter, Snapchat, all of those combined, we did not even come close to the amount on Facebook. And they're saying in the US it is 40+ minutes per day for the active average user. So there are some people spending more than that, because you're looking at me with your eyes wide open, saying there's no way I spend 40 minutes on it, okay? And so there are people that are spending more time than that. But this is where they're beginning to consume content. And that whole concept of dual screen people. So some people are watching television, but they are also using Facebook at the same time. The dual screen piece is there. So they have the smartphone with them. They're doing things, interacting with people. They might even be commenting about a show that they're watching together with someone on social media that way. So Facebook's still #1, and their key tool, which came out at the end of last year, is now live video. Live video, be your own broadcaster. And there are different pieces and different uses for this live video tool. And I just want to go, okay, so I want to go ahead and then back up a little bit. I want to show you that, think through this in live video. Retail store, you might be able to do a little quick walk through the store, show them some new things that you've rolled out, that type of thing. From a education standpoint, I've seen where they've gotten involved with teachers, the biology classroom, going live for a little bit to show the dissection, that type of thing, something fun, what they're doing, an event the school is having. In business to business, I've seen it on the manufacturing floor where they're showing a process or a new machine, something that is innovative for them. It can be an interview. It doesn't have to be an interview outside of the company. It could be someone in your marketing department interviewing someone in the head of sales, head of production, those types of pieces, getting some information, what is helpful, things you might put out there in a press release, put out there anyway, but being able to do a quick snippet this way, go behind the scenes. Behind the scenes has worked well for a number of restaurants, bakeries, coffee shops, those types of things where they're showing some of their processes, the fun, making that fun, interesting, behind the scenes, going there. And it is an awesome way to introduce new content. So if you do have an event, you have a special, you have an activity, you have a new area on your website, you have a new blog post that's going out, you can introduce these with a quick live video, and that will help your audience be aware of you and understand what you're doing. And I just want to show you how quick and easy it is to do that. Okay, so we are live now on my iPhone, and I'm using the Pages app. All right, so if you have a Facebook page for your business, you can have the free Pages app, which allows you to post as your page on Facebook. Definitely recommend this. It's a handy way on the go to post and publish. And now one of the new features is ability to go live. You can simply click on that, and it comes up. It says, how do you want to describe your video? Love. Okay, quick introduction, and spelled that wrong. Go live, 3, 2, and 1, and we're live on our Facebook page of Digital Hill. Okay, so this is where I could introduce the content that we're sharing, and since we're all here, I'll say this is our crowd today for the Facebook, what's happening for Facebook and Business workshop, and you'll notice a few things that it says. You're live, we're building an audience for you. Obviously, if you go live right then, people are not going to be aware of it. It might not be a good time. Probably this is not a good time for a lot of people. So you want to think through those pieces. So a key tip when you are getting ready to do Facebook Live is to make your audience aware of that. So you can schedule, you can put a post out ahead of time. We're going to be going live at 12:30 during your lunch hour, and we're going to be talking about X, Y, and Z. So, stay tuned then. And you can do that, a day ahead of time, the morning of, and you get that information out to alert people. Facebook then helps you. They don't do this with any other post type, okay? So what they're doing, you're live, we're building an audience for you, keep going, we're telling your followers to join your video. This is Facebook helping you get your audience. So they're reaching out to your fans to do that. And no other tool. You can't post any post a picture. You can't just upload a video and have Facebook do this kind of work for you. So they have seen that people interact with live video, and they want to help you with that. And so, and have you gotten notifications? If you have a smartphone, you might have seen this, where you get a notification someone's live, some page is live, that type of thing. That's what we're talking about. So it's a way for them to go live. Now, again, things that you want to think through are when you want to do that. You can't spring it on people and just hope that they're going to be there. And consistency. So you might want to do something where you begin to do a routine where, every Tuesday and Thursday at 4, so that people could fit into a routine of that, and be aware that, for better or for worse, sometimes outside of the 8 to 5 is going to work best for you as well. That's when people are going to be most apt to tune in and listen. Could be that lunch hour break, could be at 5 p.m. Statistics are showing that there's different times of day and when people are most active on social media networks. Now, in general, it's interesting to note that, like with Facebook, we've got 2 people coming in. On Facebook, for instance, that the afternoon time periods and the evening time periods are getting the highest. Now, you can take a look If you have a Facebook page, they give you statistics. It's called Insights, and you can go to Insights, and it will tell you the time of day when your fans are online the most. And so those are the key times to be posting during the day. But like Friday afternoon, I know is a significant time in general for people to be active on Facebook. People are getting ready to head for the weekend. They might be losing focus, whatever. The tide rises on Friday afternoons. So you want to think about times that you might want to do this, but it's a way to get in front of your folks and to do something. Again, product demos. You can go through something. Well, we do some demos of new websites. So I use my smartphone. I'm looking at my computer and I'm going through a website, and I can do that in live just because all the features of live helping get our audience out there. But that's a quick snippet of going live. It ends the video. It says, do I want to post that? Post your video replay. It gives me a little snapshot of what happened there. I will post it. And I will flip back for now. So, you can do live video on all of these platforms at this point in time. All right, I showed you on Facebook, and I particularly showed you a Facebook page there. You can do that. You can go live from a Facebook profile. That's your personal profile. YouTube has it live now. Periscope is an app on your smartphone that you can use that with. Also, you can do it within Twitter now as well. And Snapchat has their own little video tool, and Instagram. When was it? It was within the last 3 months that they rolled out Instagram Live, so you can go live on Instagram. So it's about knowing where your people are spending time, which of those platforms, as to know where you would want to perhaps experiment with going live. All right. Okay. Next one then, just to talk about this a little bit, and I consider Snapchat one to watch unless your demographic is 13 to 25. If it's 13 to 25, then you really need to be paying attention to Snapchat, because that is where that segment, that audience is really spending time, okay? And Snapchat is massively evolving. It doesn't have tremendous business uses yet, but I see it coming. They just went public, and now they're a publicly traded company. It was massive billion-dollar net worth that they went live with, and we're seeing a ad network roll out, and so there's evolution coming. Right now, big brands are using it. We're seeing sports teams, that type of thing, are having some success. Clothing, some of the big brands in clothing are seeing success. They're doing, because you can do snaps one-to-one, but you can also do snaps one-to-many, so you can follow a brand and get their snaps and see their stories that they put up, see their video content. It is disappearing. One of the benefits of disappearing is that you can easily run a short-term offer or discount, because it's going to disappear. So, you can do that on Instagram and on Snapchat, but you could run something for, at max 24 hours, because it's going to be gone after that, or the snaps will disappear after someone's viewed it. So I consider it in the watch category, but you see that People Magazine, they're trying to move into the news arena where they're trying to get people to spend time there. That's what social media networks, their goal is to get more users and have those users spend time there. Then from a business perspective, your goal is to say, where are my people spending time and where can I get in front of them? So that's what we're trying to dissect, where that can happen. There are other features with Snapchat that may apply, and that is like geofilters. I've seen some schools use this effectively at events, because again, teenagers are using Snapchat. So you can geolocate a filter, all right? So that if, let's say there's a big school event, let's just say it's a football game, and you put a geofilter around the school and the football stadium, so when people use Snapchat and they would take a snap of themselves, they would see the opportunity to add that filter, which is kind of like your own branding, to add to their picture, all right? And so then people snap with that filter, they share that, and your branding has went with them. So it's a brand recognition piece on Snapchat, okay? and I've seen people put some offers into those. You see these at trade shows and events where a company at the trade show will put a filter on that so that people will use that and they will see, come to booth XYZ and get 1, 2, 3 kind of thing, piece on that. So that's a creative way to use it. It's evolving. Like I said, right now, to do an ad on Snapchat, you have to use a third-party platform. You're going to see that continue to shift. In my mind, it's one to watch unless you're in that 13 to 25-year-old. That's your target range there. Another one that I am excited about and bullish about and want you to pay attention to because they are on the rise and they got all the backing of the big mothership Facebook, and that is Instagram. Instagram had a massive 2016. They made major changes that benefited business, and they also have added new tools, ads, and different features, and a user base that really expanded because they started out, and you maybe have just thought of Instagram as you share photos, okay? But it has evolved to much more than that. As I said, now they went from 15-second videos to 60-second videos that you can record and post. The Instagram Live, you can go live and spend significant more portions of time on there. They moved to business profiles, so that's a picture of a business profile here as well, where there's a shift where a regular Instagram profile, personal profile, does not have the contact button, and it does not give you stats. So there's different pieces that you can use within this. So we have a contact button, you get the address, clickable links, these types of pieces on a business profile, and you get more statistics. It shows you more details about who has interacted with your profile. It is a simple tool within the app to use that says that in the settings to shift from a profile to a business profile and get these extra features. The extra features also enable you to use Instagram ads, and Instagram ads are connected to your Facebook ads account. This is how they are married together. So, and I'll have a couple screens coming on later which show you a little bit more about the ad feature within Instagram. But let's jump back here a second to Instagram. Okay, so I am on the Digital Hill Instagram account now, and they make it easy, so I can have multiple accounts. The bottom right, it tells me what account I'm in, and if I wanted to switch, then I can click on that. I can go to my personal account easily and navigate that way. Let's see, I went back to the home button. All right, stories. All these icons up at the top here are Instagram stories. This is their Snapchat-esque feature, which allows you to create little snippets of content that you can stitch together that last 24 hours. All right, so if I click on this to add to our story, and it comes up with me, and I can do different things with it. So I can go live and say, hey, I'm live in Fort Wayne giving a workshop here, and it's video recording me. I've got, 15 seconds worth. You can see it going there. And it stops. I can add it to my story, and that is one piece of my story, and there it is, live, what I just recorded. So it's a way to stitch together. If you have an audience on Instagram, this is a way to stitch together a story that can ultimately tell the story and communicate a message. And again, it's going to last 24 hours. So it's a way to show offers, but it's an engagement tool. People are watching these stories. They're perusing the different people that they have, that they've followed up here. And it can be a way to gain, to attract, to build trust. And there's also features within it. Okay, so if we do this, you saw down here, I have some options: live, normal, boomerang, hands-free on these things. And just, that's as simple as it is. Again, to go live, it checks my connection. I've got enough bandwidth here, and it'll go live if I've got enough bandwidth connection. And maybe I don't. All right, I'm not going to. I can also add to stories content that I've created before. So if I pull down on my screen, and oh, I'm under normal. That's why I wasn't doing it. So under normal, now I can go through different photos that I have taken in the last 24 hours, and I could add those to my story. All right, so it allows you to add in content that you have used within the last 24 hours. So what we're seeing with Instagram is a method, and let's see if we can get anything from Instagram themselves. That's loading. And they're giving you a St. Patrick's Day message. You can click on it to advance them. They're doing fun things. You saw those filters that they add, the funny faces over a picture, the hats, the different things like that. Those are all pieces that they are using to compete with Snapchat and to give people user experience. That may seem like a weird thing for business, and you don't have to use those necessarily for business. It's probably not going to apply to B2B, but it's part of the culture of that network, so it is something to pay attention to within Instagram. So Instagram has come out with a number of pieces. I definitely recommend that you have an Instagram account, whether you're actively using it or not. Make sure you get the property, just because it is one that is significantly growing. Demographics are expanding, and with that, you can use the business profile. So if you have a Facebook page, it connects directly to that Facebook page. So I recommend that. I recommend you do experiment with the stories like I showed you there, trying those pieces it's another way to do a product demo, a quick tutorial, that type of thing. Load your 60-second videos. It is integrated with Facebook ads, and you can go live there. Now, if you remember challenge number 2 that I introduced to you, and that was the amount of content that is out there. The amount of content that is out there. What you need to remember and consider is that in spite of all these social media networks, that your website is still your primary asset online. It's your foundation, it's the home base, and you need to be taking care of that home base with your primary content, your primary news source of information. Social media is a way to get the word out there about that, but you largely want to try to drive them back to that. It's a opportunity through social media to draw people to your website, and I don't want to have you focus solely on Facebook Live video, because I think that when you ultimately need to have a purpose for that, and that purpose usually has to take them somewhere. It's either to take them into your store, or it's to largely take them back to another piece of your property, which is your website. So I want you to focus on quality website content. So what are you putting out? I think that obviously in the real estate, you're going to have listings of properties and different things like that. But there are other pieces of property content that can be valuable. And I've seen realtors, brokers do this successfully, talking about how to prepare your home for the sale, or the top things that you can do to your home to increase its value, or what you should be doing to annually to review your homeowner's insurance. Those types of pieces are valuable pieces of content that people would have interest in, that you can have resident on the website and you can share socially. So because not everybody's looking to sell a home at a given point in time, but some of these other pieces can help them know, like, and trust, build rapport with you, and those give you an opportunity for things of relevance to share on social media. What you want to do with your content then is to find ways to ignite it, all right? And that's what we want to talk about. How do you get that domino effect going and get the word out and get that word spread? The whole kind of, try to get to go viral. Things that people share. What do people share? What goes viral? Typically things that are social, that are fun, that are intriguing, that are of interest. Can you do that with some of your content? Can you do that with, even in the business realm, B2B realm? Can you do that with, some type of your innovation that you're seeing, and thinking about going behind the scenes that can stir people on. Now, I took this picture from Karate Kid just because I want you to focus on the key words down the bottom right to be different. I think there is a important need to try to differentiate yourself. If you're just sharing some simple things, you might not be different enough to be interesting. So you have to think creatively about this. I want you to be aware that you're still early on if you're starting to use these tools that I'm talking about with the video, okay? The dominant use of Facebook, in spite of it not being the best by businesses, is still just posts and links, okay? A text post and a post with a link to a web page. And that's 50-60%. There's a lot less. You can be in that early adopter stage yet and get some more traction by doing some of these things, using video strategically, strategic social media sharing, and using paid advertising. The other fact, if you just take into account Facebook and now Instagram, they have what they call algorithms of what content you see, okay? Not all posts are seen, not all posts are treated equally, okay? Twitter is different. Whatever you post, whoever is following, if they're watching at that point in time, they would see it and then it's gone, kind of thing. But with Facebook, Facebook has a algorithm that takes into account what you have interacted with in the past. So if you have 500 fans and you have gotten a percentage of them to interact with a post in the past, say you did a little live video and you got 25 people to like that, 2 people shared it, and there were 10 comments and you responded to those. That is all called engagement. And those people, because they engaged, are more likely to see your content in the future. So it builds on each other. The more content you create that people interact with, the more those interactors will see your content more in the future. They say the average Facebook user has the potential to see 1,500 different newsfeed posts in one day. Okay? Tremendous. We're not going to see all those. Facebook's goal is to show them what they think matters most. And they're doing that by saying, what did you interact with? Who are you connected to? What did you comment on? What did you like before? Those are triggers, indicators of what you might like in the future. We will show you more of that. They're showing you about 20% of that 1,500, and they're helping to determine what that is. You get in the mix. You fight that content battle, that content overload, by being unique so you get some engagement, so that you get seen the next time around. Video, video, video. All of these have video options now. So I've already talked about Facebook, and you can load video to Facebook as well, and that is, here's a quick tip, and YouTube is the #1 video sharing platform still, but Facebook has overtaken it in terms of amount of videos now viewed daily. Okay, YouTube for years had a solid hold on that. Facebook overtook that. This is an important shift. I'm recommending that if you create a nice video, you have a 2-minute video for your business, okay? I want you to load that to YouTube, okay, because YouTube has value because it's owned by Google and it gets indexed well in search by Google. So if somebody's searching for product XYZ in Shipshewana, okay, and you have a YouTube video about that, and they search that in Google, which 65 to 68% people use Google in their searches, okay, then you want them to be able to find that video, and they can do that if you load it to YouTube. You do not want to share that YouTube video to Facebook on your Facebook page, the YouTube video, because Facebook will not give that reach, okay? Those are competitors, and they do not compete equally. You want to take that same raw video, load it to your Facebook page, and it will be seen by more people than if you share your YouTube video on Facebook. All right? So you need to have that one professional video. You need to load it in both places because it serves different audiences. The one is for Google search. That's with YouTube and your YouTube channel. People are searching on YouTube. People are searching on Google. They will find YouTube videos. On Facebook, you want to see it from your page, you need to load that video to your Facebook page. All right? There are video options on the rest of these. It's just becoming a tool to experiment with. Now, the good thing is that you don't have to use green screens and be totally professional. There's still that place for that small professional video that demonstrates your company in 2 to 3 minutes, that type of thing. But on social media, there is ample room for your smartphone and you doing this kind of thing. And here's a couple ideas to think through. And this is CK Products, who is here in Fort Wayne. They're a wholesale to the cake baking industry, and this isn't even in their video, but they were sharing one from another company. But video ideas, you can share some type of story. School districts can share stories. Can you share stories of teachers, what's happening in the classroom, those types of things. You can share how-tos, break something down. This is how you use our product. If you purchase this, this is the way to set it up. This is the way to get maximum use out of it. This is how to do that. Introduce your content, okay? So going back to that real estate example where we talked about, the 5 things that you can do to get your home ready to put on the market. And that's a great blog post that goes on your website, but you can do a video that says, hey, we've got a new blog post up, and I cover the 5 things in this. Here's point number 1. This is why it's important, what you need to do. For the rest of those points, come on over, click here to do that. Okay, that type of simple video that does that. OPC means other people's content. That was this example over here. So Evil Cake Genius created this content. CK Products shared it. It is okay, and this comes back to that frequency thing. Take Facebook, for example, that I really think you need to be starting to think about it, posting at least 3 times a day on your Facebook page to be relevant. And you think, wow, that's a load, okay? But you don't have to have all that content yourself. There will be other things that you could see are good content, that are relevant content that you share. Be a resource. Be an expert. Be an industry leader. Be helpful, okay? You may not think that you can't hit a home run every time, but you can hit a load of singles, and that can score runs. All right, and the way you do that is to be helpful. How can you have your content be helpful? People are online for 2 basic reasons. Online for 2 basic reasons. They're either trying to research something or they're trying to be entertained. Research or entertain. Trying to find something, trying to be entertained. Okay? How can you solve either of those? They're spending time on social media network. They are largely being there perhaps to be entertained. How can you intersect with them while they're in that mode? Okay, so you have to think through that. Or how can you offer something that is of value to them, such as tips? When you're thinking about social media videos, you have to think short. 45 to 150 seconds, I think, is kind of a sweet spot within that. You can't go super long on those pieces, except with Facebook Live and the Instagram Live, those type of live things, just because it takes time to build that audience. So you have to be prepared to go longer when you go live on those pieces there. I've seen live segments that are good that are anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes, generally longer than that, and you're going to lose an audience. But with your short videos on social media, things that are less than a minute is a great sweet spot. Some of those that allow longer ones, you can go a little bit further. Did you know that Facebook now allows you, once you load a video to Facebook, okay, they've actually innovated this. I don't know why YouTube never got around to it fast enough, but Facebook has made it easy and quick. They just rolled this out in January, okay, that you can load a video to Facebook, then you go into the video editing, hit captioning after it's loaded, and immediately after they have loaded the video, they scan that video and they give you a draft of the captions, and you can go in there and edit those captions so you can have captions for all your videos. Why do you think that's important?
For people who are in a meeting and they are watching their phones.
Yes, because videos right now in the news feed start silently. You're scrolling and you see the video, but if you can read the caption, you've got it. And so they're helping. with those tools. You can go in there, so I can load a minute video, and I can go to my editing, hit captions, it'll pull them up. I can tweak them a little bit to make sure it's right. It's because it's taking what I'm saying and putting it in there, sharpen that, hit save, and it's there. So they're giving us tools to do that, tools that they know will help, because you basically have about 5 or 6 seconds tops to capture attention in that video. People are scrolling the news feed. Okay, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Your video, the action might have stopped them. They're pausing. What's happening? Okay, if I have a caption, that's beginning to introduce it. You can see that and see if you want to go further with it. Here was an example from a hotel, the Marriott Marquis San Diego. This is from their kitchen. This was an example of going live. Now, they actually did the microphone. You don't have to go that far on this extent, but this was in their kitchen. We give you a first-hand look at the beer making process and our partnership with Pizza Port Brewing Company. So they have this relationship there with products that they serve within their restaurant, within the hotel, and they're promoting that. Okay, so it's not a come and eat here kind of thing, but it's about, hey, this is the process behind these guys making craft beer that we serve in our restaurant. Okay, live video, as I said, you got to go longer, and it does take the time to build an audience. You should alert them to it ahead of time when you're going to go live with those pieces. And let me just hit a couple video tips, then I'm going to take a break here. With YouTube, I already kind of mentioned this, so I won't rehash it a lot, but it's great for SEO. So you want to load your videos to YouTube because they have value in YouTube search and Google search, and that's where people are searching. For your business, you want to create what's called a channel, so all your videos are under a channel, and you want to use keywords in your description. For YouTube to be findable, it's the title and the description. That's what's important, because that's what they index and helps people. When somebody puts in a search term in Google, they're looking through the title and the description in the YouTube video to help that rise and surface. And the other key tip is that in your YouTube description, you can put, like, again, if we're putting a little video out about that 5 ways to get your home ready, and we've loaded that to YouTube as well, I want them to get over to my website. So in the description, I can add the URL in the description of the blog post. This is what this is about, the 5 things. Come over here to read the full post, click this link. With the link, you have to have the http:// or it won't be a live link. It'll just be text. So just be aware of those pieces. Now, tools that I always carry with me because of this video nature. It's in my backpack right now. The tripod. This is a Gorilla tripod, and it is a $15 tool from Amazon.com. But it basically allows me to go live anywhere, because I can stick my smartphone in it, set it up on a desk, on a table, on top of the roof of my car. I can go live. I carry the old selfie stick with me, $9.99 now, and you can go live, you can broadcast, you can do these types of things. So you can be a producer that can help your page, your social media profiles, get content with just some of these simple tools that you can use there. Why don't I just dive into some questions? Do you have any questions on different things that I've shared thus far? And as well, if you do need to get up, use the restroom, get a drink of water, feel free to do that. And we'll keep going here at 9:30. But while we're doing that, any questions that you have at this point in time? Yep.
Do you have any sources that you use that helps you develop content? Because it seems like content is the biggest challenge here. I mean, after you get past the hurdle of the technology, you get past the hurdle of strategizing. The big challenge for me is how you develop so much content. I mean, because we're talking about writing stories, and there's got to be some kind of script writing there. Unless you're really good at impromptu stuff,
Right.
Do you have certain sources you use to generate ideas?
I think that's a good question, and I think it does take some strategy in that. And you should be thinking about content from a couple perspectives, you know. And so, if we often recommend trying to think through a content calendar. So, you know, and that starts at big bucket level. What are key things that we want to communicate about in the month ahead? And we might break that down to say, are there events? Okay, how are we going to promote those events? And then we want to break that down further to say, what are we going to need? Something that, again, the major piece of that content is going to be on our website. We blog about this on Digital Hills blog, but you know the basics of what you need. You know, it's good to have 600 words in a blog post. It's good to have a clear, actionable headline that tells them what it's about. People scan blog posts, so it's good to have subtitles in that. You know, those 5 points that I talked about, that's another item to talk about. People will look at things that are 5 of this, 7 of this. They get bogged down when it's, you know, the 32 best ideas for whatever. Nobody has time for that. So, but sub points and breaking those down. So that's for your own content, and we can kind of have a strategy that we say that we go through with clients in terms of how you write by taking a look at big picture, key things you want to communicate, what content can apply to that, how are we going to share that socially, what tools we want to use that share that socially. Do we want to do some video? Do we want to do some photos with that? And then we're looking at other people's content that's relevant to share from as well. So you can find some sources that are related to your industry that are, you know, maybe there's, going back to the real estate example, maybe it's, you know, some type of national board of realtors that also has some good content, regional board of realtors that has some good content, those type of things that are not competitors but that are relevant in your space, that you might be able to share some of their things, okay? But also think outside the box, what's relevant for your community. If you're a realtor, you're serving a region, so you might be able to share content from the city, from the Parks and Recreation, from, you know, something like that in that realm. So it's looking at relevant, related sources that help you offer value. We keep it simple, break it down, how to offer value, and what's our business trying to accomplish? How do I weave those things together? But yeah, I mean, that's a overview. I mean, we do some of that strategy as work for clients and helping them develop a blueprint and a plan for that, but that's some tips along the way. Other questions?
Yeah, can you help us link our Facebook to our Instagram?
Okay, linking your Facebook page to your Instagram account.
Is it linked?
Okay. How many of your businesses are have a Facebook page? Got a Facebook page? Okay, we've got that down. How many have a Instagram account for the organization business? Okay, and again, it depends what your audience is. How many of you have a YouTube channel? Okay, and guessing this one probably won't be high, but Snapchat for your business, right? Okay, that fits in the demographics. LinkedIn personal profile,
LinkedIn?
company profile. Okay. Good. All right. No other specific questions. I'm going to keep going then, and we'll roll on into some ideas here. The piece with Instagram, just to highlight again, you can do special offers. They would last for 24 hours because that content's going to disappear. You can show your process of something. Show your process on the floor, the manufacturing, from design to fulfillment process. There is the concept of takeover, which is sharing your Instagram account with another party that is relevant to do this. I've seen this. One simple example is in cities where maybe the city has a Instagram account and they allow the Parks and Recreation to take it over for an event. So it is the Parks and Recreation posting on behalf, using the city's account for that morning for an event. It's a way to kind of build some synergies and that type of thing. I've seen it with retail stores where they do something. They're not direct competitors, but they're retail within the same community, and they're saying, hey, we're going to do an exchange, with the coffee shop and our retail shop. Those types of pieces there. So it's a way of bringing your audience over to another community and your community to that other audience, exchanging and hoping to grow yours through that, to expand awareness that way. Now, this one is a key thing that I want to highlight for you as well, and that is that you can have some great content on your website, and I don't want you to get it to the misnomer that I've shared it, I've created a video, I'm done. Okay? Use your content. You have taken time. You've thought about this. This was strategic that you put this blog post together that's out on your website. You need to be thinking about how you strategically share that. And this is a little sample sharing plan that I recommend based on the differences in the social media networks. You'd have to take into account where your audience is spending time. But on Facebook, for example, okay, you've got a new piece of content and it goes live. You might want to share that on your Facebook page immediately. You might want to do it 6 hours after. Again, not everybody was on that first time and saw that, okay? But you might want to come back to it. You can share that content again later on, a couple days later. Don't lose that. You took time to create that's on the website. Just by sharing it once, you're not done. You're not getting the maximum value out of that. And you can share that differently on Facebook. You're not just sharing the same post with the same words. We talked about that blog post with 5 key things. You highlighted, hey, we've got a new blog post out the first time. The second time, hey, key point number 2 was this. You want to see the others, come on over here. You might do a video about it one time. You might go live on Facebook about it another time. You might share an image about it a third time. All right? These are different ways to share that same piece of content that you have. That's important. So on Facebook, there is value in getting it multiple times. On Pinterest, you can really only share it once. You might pin it to a different board so that it goes into other boards over the course of time. Don't do that immediately, because if somebody's following you, they just see that. But if you can put it on one board and then 2 days later you also share that to another board that you have, there could be some value in that. Twitter is like a fire hose, though, so you have to kind of share that same thing again and again and again to hopefully get in front of people when they're on Twitter at that point in time. With Snapchat, it's basically as a story at this point in time. We're going to see some pieces evolving with that. With Instagram, all of a sudden, we're seeing more tools now because you can do it immediately in Instagram, but you could also do it in stories, and you could also go live about it. So that Instagram is expanding the ways that you could share about the same piece of content at different times. LinkedIn, and I'm talking primarily here, the most benefit on LinkedIn is within your personal network. Okay, you should have a LinkedIn company profile, and you can share some things from your company profile, but you're typically have less followers generally on a company page on LinkedIn than you do on your personal profiles, the LinkedIn profiles. So you want to encourage your company employees to be sharing some of your content on their LinkedIn profile. Okay, there is a pretty good value in sharing on LinkedIn, B2B. People are checking that. They've redone their mobile app, and it's pretty good. It gives you notifications. People can check that, what's happening on there. So share your best content from your website on your LinkedIn profile. Google Plus, how many of you are active Google Plus users? Okay. It's not happening too much anymore. It's kind of fading, and it's not mainstream, but it does have value from a search engine optimization standpoint. Of course, owned by Google, and we have seen that if you take a blog post that you created and you share it on Google+, the first benefit is that it immediately gets indexed by the search engine. So it can be found. You can then go back to Google and type in the name, the title of the blog post, and boom, it'll pull it up. So they do an immediate indexing, and as well, Google Plus page posts that you have shared often can rank well in search results. Okay, so you might have a good blog post, and you want to rank for a certain term, XYZ in Shipshawana, and you might have some good blog posts, and so your website comes up about that. But if you share that in Google Plus, in Google search, those Google Plus posts might also come up about that, and so it helps you because you can have multiple results for the same thing for your company on page 1 of Google, and people don't get beyond page 1 on Google. Right? That was free advice outside the social media realm. All right. Now, there are tools to help you do this more efficiently as well. When you think about social media sharing, I've got content I want to share. I want to get this out on Twitter. I want to get it out on Facebook page. I want to get it out on LinkedIn. Some of these tools, Hootsuite is a tool like this. Buffer, Post Planner, CoSchedule are all ones where you can connect social media accounts and share them out to different social media platforms. They allow you to kind of tweak the messages, save them, schedule them at certain points in time. Because again, you want to share them. You can do this at 9 o'clock at night and have it go out at 8 o'clock, at 12 noon, at 6 p.m., the times that are relevant for your audience to see these the next day. And Hootsuite, for example, is a pretty eclectic tool where you can share to all of those social media platforms. You can share to a Facebook profile, a Facebook page, to the Google Plus page, get that index, to the LinkedIn group, to the LinkedIn profile, all of those in one shot. So that's a value there. Now, there's not one that takes care of everything because not all, it takes an API, like Instagram doesn't allow third-party sharing directly from any of these tools. That you still have to go back to the Instagram app to do that at some point in time. And there's things that you can't do with Instagram in that regard as well. All right, so we've talked about strategic video and strategic social sharing in the sense that you've got great content. Don't just think that sharing it once is done. Find creative ways to get that out there multiple times. As again, the amount of content is immense that's out there, the amount that's put out every day. The only way to compete is to get in the game with it and to get up to speed. And by doing this, you're giving yourself multiple opportunities. They might have missed the first one that you shared about that new blog post. They might have missed the second one, but maybe they're going to see the third one because you kept with it over a period of time. Paid advertising is the guaranteed way to get in front of them, and this is advanced. This has been made much simpler, and it has capabilities for all of us to use. Facebook is the front runner in this. I am bullish on Facebook ads just because they have a massive amount of information on all of us. We have freely given it to them, and they use that to help businesses run ads. They get in front of the exact target audience. I mean, I like to say largest human database there is. You have told them all kinds of things. Every like is tracked. Every comment is tracked. They know where you did that. That can scare you. From a business perspective, it should say, excellent, awesome, because you can get in front of the right audience. You don't have to waste money on other people, on other things. For as little as $1 a day, you can get in front of them because it allows you to drill into all kinds of things. The demographics are amazing. I mean, yeah, obviously there's a location, geographic area, there's age, there's gender, but you can get down into things, job title, believe it or not, the income ranges based on job titles and industries. They're analyzing these pieces. You can get down into, you can drill down into, if it's a large company, you can drill down into a specific person, a job title in a certain company, and you can run ads on fans of competitors, that type of thing. So, I mean, there are ways to really hone in. So it's not the billboard approach where it's like, hey, hopefully some of the people driving by this are going to be relevant to us. But you can get in front of just your target audience that is relevant to you. That is, and interest is a key thing. What are they interested in? What pages that they liked? You can drill down into those things so that your audience can be narrow, can be specific, and you can get right in front of them. So this was an example that I just did. I was starting to fill some things out, and I can save my audiences then, so it's faster for me to go back to. I call this one, a Digital Hill website audience. I can do it geographically by job title, and this is kind of, it spits out then, where you're at in that reach. And this was, I was narrowing it down. I had fewer than 1,000 people. It was pretty tight. It was very specific, and they wanted me to broaden it up there a little bit. They go through these pieces with you. They help you find that audience. This is in the Ads Manager. There is also the faster way. When you shared a post, you can just hit the boost button on that post. Now they give you some demographic options within that. Use those. Okay, don't just do it to fans of the page. That's a starting point, but what else? And geographically target those. One of the newest advancements. This is one of those that is brand new since I was here in February. Is the Instagram promote option. So this is the Instagram post that I put out here. I did a video, and I'm doing what I'm preaching here. Our latest blog post dives into the new LinkedIn profile, what you need to know, how to maximize it for your use. Okay, so this was the video where I introduced the blog post, and this is what Instagram gives me. It gives me a promote button. Do I want to run an ad on that to reach more of my audience? So just to show you what it does then, if I hit promote, it gives me the option. What do I want people to do? Do I want them to visit my website? Well, that's a good thing to do. Or do I want them to call or visit, foot traffic to my business? And I click to visit my website. So then it takes me into some demographics right here. I can name it, and I can put locations on it, interests. So I decided to target, business owners, people in marketing, promotion, sales, education, higher education, social media, or management. I can narrow my age range down, gender, those types of things. So it gave me a basic tool right here, all with just hitting that promote button. I could set a budget limit and say, I want to spend $10 over 7 days. And it'll roll that out. It's going to target that audience. Just like that. This wasn't there before. The key thing about it is that if I save this audience, that audience is also saved in my Facebook Ads Manager. I mean, these two are synced together. And when I hit pay, I didn't have to do anything different, add a new credit card or whatever, because it's using my Facebook Ads account. All right, so it's all tied in there. I can go back and see statistics in my Facebook Ads account for that ad. So this is a new thing. Facebook's got it. Facebook owns Instagram. They're rolling it out on Instagram. You're seeing more of those pieces there. Some really powerful tools there on Facebook and Instagram to get in front of the right audience. The difference, now you talk about, there's also Google AdWords, of course, that type of thing. And kind of there's a difference there. Google is search. People are searching for something, and so there you're looking at keywords because you want, if they're searching for this term, I want to come up. That's what Google AdWords is about. On Facebook and Instagram, the audience, it's different. People aren't searching for a term. It's you seeking out, I want to get my message in front of them because they fit criteria X, Y, Z, and 1, 2, and 3. And as I said, that with social media, it's not necessarily a direct sales channel. I can't say, even run an ad and really hope to say, here it is, buy this now. I might with a retail shop, but it's not going to happen in B2B kind of thing. But it can be, I can get in front of the purchasing manager, introduce my company, build some trust with my company, getting over to my website, and perhaps getting into an email nurture campaign from being on my website, starting with an ad that was directed at the right target demographic. That's the value of ads on these platforms. The others are following suit: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter has ads, YouTube, obviously on the videos you can run ads if you want to get your ad in other videos. LinkedIn has them. I need to add Snapchat on here. My slides are already out of date. Just, this is how fast it changes. Snapchat has added that in as well. This was an example. This is the Facebook Ad Manager again, and I'm setting up an Instagram ad here. This was a Pediatrust, which is a pediatrician, family of doctors in the Chicagoland area. So we were putting together some ads to run for them. This was going to be one that was used on Instagram. Again, we're targeting mothers, new mothers, And so we were finding those demographics. All of this fits together under a strategy, which I call the digital marketing funnel. And I want to run through that quickly here as my last piece to give you that framework for how these social media pieces fit together in a cohesive method. So this is weaving the things together, the social media aspect, your website, and your email marketing, all these pieces in the funnel. So at the top of the funnel, we have attraction and engagement. You want to attract more of the right type of people. That's being on the right type of social media network, okay? That's finding where they are, that's using the right tools to give you the best reach so that you're not just posting a link on Facebook and when you could be using a video that's going to reach twice, 3 times as many people. Just wanting you to be aware of those tools. But once you've reached them and they comment, then you want to engage them. You want to respond to them, and knowing that you're building for the future, they're going to see more of your content in the future. So that might mean that you share something that is purely entertaining, purely educational, purely experiential, because you're building for the future on social media, where later on you're going to share a baited hook, so to speak. You're going to go fishing then, where you're going to share hey, we've got our 5 things here that we want you to come over to our website and take a look at, and that's later on. They're seeing that because they liked and commented on something you had before that was educational or entertaining, that was fun. Then we move them over to your website. So going to attraction, think through those terms. If you break it down simply, how can you have content that does entertain, that does educate, or that does provide an experience? Just to give you a quick example here, this is from Starbucks, and it has nothing to do with your coffee this morning or anything like that, but this is Starbucks doing something that is informational, educational, showing a little bit about their company, promoting their Starbucks Global Month of Service. We had 275,000 volunteers. It's a feel-good story, okay? And people having a good time, smiles. This is what they were doing. Starbucks, volunteering, giving back. It had a lot of interaction with it there, 46,000 likes or other kind of comments and 1,104 shares. It had a comment and they responded back right away. The event pictured was X, Y, and Z. You can find out more information here. Get them over to your website. That's just a simple post. Has nothing to do with coffee, with selling a latte, with chai latte, with anything like that. But it's building towards the future. That's an attraction type post. When we move into the middle funnel, part of your content then is to get them over to your website, okay? Like this one, the intent really had no goal at that point of getting them to the website. We're just trying to get them to interact, showing them a little bit about our company, what's happening. They did have the link in this one. You can learn more here in the comment. But in the mid-funnel, part of your content sharing mix is to get them over to your website. It's promoting some of that best content that you have. You get them over there, and that's where you need to have some type of lead capture opportunity on the website, because they might not come back. 70% are taking a look, and they might not come back. So what can you do with them that time that they are there? You got them there to capture them. Went through that slide. All right. I want to say that you want to then move them from a lead capture into a email nurture funnel. All right. And this is, you can automate these, and this is a way of just building more trust with them over the course of time. So if you're using a service like one of these mentioned here, and you get them to sign up on your website for that, I do recommend, a lot of people say, do you ever see those pop-ups that come on websites and it comes up, sign up for this to be on our list? Okay, I would say, how many of you like those? And not a lot of you would raise your hands. Okay, however, from a business perspective, they are functional. They work. People are signing up for those. Okay, you need to find a way somehow to get in front of them. The ones on the sidebar, the ones on the contact page, the ones at the bottom are not doing it, okay? We use 4 different clients, the pop-up one, or we have a widget one, which kind of just has a little action and it shows up right down here in the bottom. It's called Waftio, And so there's multiple things like that, but you sometimes need a little eye-catching attraction type thing, and you want to do that while they're there, and you usually need to incentivize it, okay, in some sort. From the business to consumer realm, it's often, sign up for our list that will give you a 20% coupon that's valid for the next 2 weeks, or whatever like that. For the B2B, it might need to be a resource. Sign up for our list, and we're going to give you a ebook on XYZ, or we're going to give you an industry report on 1, 2, 3, something that's of value to them enough that they want to give you an email address. You move them from fan to visitor to lead to nurture if you can get them on that email list. Once on that email list, you could drip an email to them 4 times over 7 days, okay, every couple days, with something of value that is educational, that instructs, that helps inform them. That it's not hard sell whatsoever. It's doing those 7 points of contact for you. It's points 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7 kind of thing in that realm, and it's built enough trust. Then maybe on that 7th one, that last email, that's where you have an offer. Set up an appointment with us. Here's that specific offer of 30% off that's valid through Friday, that type of thing. So you want to use social media. Start with your website. Get the content out there. Share that on social media. Part of your social media is to engage them so they see more of your content. The more of the content they see, some of that brings them back to the website. On the website, you need to have lead capture to move them into email nurture. People read their email. Email is where you can do ultimately the selling. Okay? You move them through that funnel. That specific offer needs to be time specific when you get down to it. And let's just spend a little bit of time on this last one here. Your content mix. You take a look at the funnel. I'm recommending that 50% of your content, you think of that monthly calendar kind of thing out there, this is your social media mix. I'm saying that 50% of your social media content should be focused in this area. It's the widest part of the funnel. You might be doing some Facebook ads in this area too, to try to get in front of the right type of people. I'm saying 30% are saying, hey, check this out on our website. That's just where you bring them over with the intent to capture them. They have to know about you, trust you enough to be ready to see an offer to say, I want to check that out. Then they come over to your site. You get them to simple sign up, name and email address is all you're going to get. You can't do a big form with lots of fields. And then you want to nurture that with email. This is where some of the best action happens. And that's where you have your specific offer at the end. And always you want to measure this. How are we doing at these points? Is our audience growing? Is it engaging? Are the times that they were sharing important times? Okay. Are we getting comments? Are we getting activity? Are we growing our leads? What's happening here? What do we need to change? Do we need to change our pop-up? Do we need to use a pop-up? If we're not getting leads, we need to experiment with these things, see what's happening. And then our emails, are they getting opens? Are they opening email 1, 2, and 3, but not 4? Or are they getting to the final email? You want to measure those pieces. All right? That was a quick run through of that. I have it in my book. This is what I wrote a book about, where I cover that strategy in full. So not going to push that, but I'll let you know that that resource is there. They're just 10 if you're here. You can get them on Amazon. There's 16 there at this point in time. But that's the strategy that I cover. That's the strategy that we teach with clients. That's the strategy that we consult with. That's my book on it there. And I want to get to your questions here. So as we close, just a couple reminders on this piece. Who is your target? If you're gonna leave here, I want you to be thinking about these things. Who's your target, and where are they spending time? Okay. It is not simply, if we build it, they will come. This takes continual effort, right? This takes continual effort. It is not once and done. You will need to continue to evolve. You need to continue to work at this. All right. And finally, content matters. Content matters, and you need to ignite your content. Think about ways that you can, if it's on your website and it's good stuff and nobody knows about it, it's not doing you any good. social media is an opportunity to ignite that. If you use some of these latest tools and opportunities to do that, putting these things together, I believe you can rock it. Okay, I believe you can get there, and we're available. You're seeing me. I'm one of a team of 11 in our company, and this is what we do. The kind of resources that we offer. So with that, I want to go back to your questions and see if there are any that came up from my second half of this presentation.
Can we get this PowerPoint?
Yes. Yep. And
Michael, that $300 a month, what does that cover exactly? Well,
that would probably be,
generally,
that would be kind of a starting point for one type of service. So maybe you want us to run some Facebook ads for you, kind of thing, and so we might have to do some setup. We manage those pieces, and that might give us a piece of a ad budget to run. That might be on a different realm. That could be helping you with your content, because maybe our team is going to work with you, so we're going to write 3 blog posts for you a month, that type of thing. So it